I'm Caroline Warren.
And I'm Holly Mackin.
And I'm Professor Connors.
And I'm Hesmer.
And I'm Jose.
And I'm Meredith. Hi, I'm Holly Mackin.
And I'm Caroline Warren.
And this is French News Today.
Breaking news, with the French voters behind him, Napoleon chooses to become emperor. On December 2nd, Napoleon will be crowned ruler of France.
Now let's take it to Cassidy Allen with the weather this morning.
And Cassidy Allen, and it's cloudy with a slight chance of showers. The high today is 54 and a low of 38. Right now it is 49 degrees outside. It is very windy, so bundle up, France. Back to you, Holly.
There have been reports about rebellious groups being formed against our last few monarchies. Now let's take it to Meredith Eadlin, who has more on the story and is at Fat Sealy right now.
Today I am outside the newly reformed prison known as Bat Seal. The one here is only a replacement of the original Bat Seal prison. Also a popular place to find the guillotine, which was become a well-known symbol of the French Revolution. It was built to replace the one that was burned down by a formed group of craftsmen and salesmen. It has been said that the citizens a part of this were bought to do this because of the prison symbolization for Louis XVI's power. Since then, a lot of groups have been forming against the last few monarchies. Another group formed roughly 3 years after this incident, known as the Sans-Culottes. The Sans-Culottes were supporting the Jacobins, who were a higher society rebel group, a part of the Reign of Terror, or a time with remorseless repression. Look, Jose! He was a part of the lower class society of Sans-Culottes. Jose, how did you become a part of the Sans-Culottes?
I was traveling to another state of France when I was accused of being an immigrant. This made me not like our people in power. I was put on many trials because of them thinking I was settling here from another country. The Sans-Culottes were against them, and I believed in what them and the Jacobins believed in. I think the people in power are crazy, to be honest, and our society is being harmed by all the decisions and rules.
Now back to you in the studio, Caroline.
On to an update about the Estate General, which is an assembly of representatives from all three estates, or social classes in France. The first estate owns 10% of the land in France, provides education and relief services to the poor, and contributes 2% of its income to the government. The second estate is made up of the rich nobles. Only 2% of the population owns 20% of the land and pays little to no taxes. The third estate contains approximately 97%. The first group, bourgeois, are the middle class. The second group is the poorest group. The third group contains the peasants. I do not agree with the estate system at all. Being judged and then classified due to the amount of money you have is not fair. Everyone of each social class should be treated equally and fairly. People should be more open-minded and not just jump into conclusions about someone by just the way they look. Even Maximilian Robespierre agreed with these opinions on everyone being equal, and he was a part of the Estates General. People should be able to look at the big picture of things and see what people are able to offer and not just give. And now to Cassidy with the sports segment.
Last night in football, the Nancy's won 49-33 against the Oxfords. It was a big upset for the Oxfords that they will no longer be ranked in the top 10. There was also an intense game of chess between Louis Batesti and Arnold Achbach yesterday morning. It was a close call, but Batesti won revenge against his former rival. A fight broke out in the crowd. On the sidelines of Sport News, cricket is becoming wildly popular in small villages all over France. The teams may be small, but they have big ambitions when it comes to playing. Now back to the studio, ladies.
Now we have more information about our soon-to-be new emperor with Allison Connors.
Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769. When he was 9 years old, he was sent to military school. When Napoleon turned 16, he finished school and became a leader in the artillery, which is a part of the military where people that shot the cannons and drove the wagons were instructed. In 4 short years, Napoleon went from a leader of the artillery to leader of France. In 1796, Napoleon was told to lead the French army against Austria in the Kingdom of Sardinia. While fighting, Napoleon won many historic victories. When Napoleon came back to France after power, people encouraged him to take political power. Napoleon later seized France. Napoleon did that by being the leader in the army. He seized the government because he was a very strong leader, so he took over with a lot of support behind him. When Napoleon was leader, he managed to get France at peace for the first time in 10 years. He helped change our country for the better by setting up public schools and a great system of laws. The great system of laws is the Napoleonic Code. These codes forbade privileges based on birth and allowed freedom of religion and specific that government jobs should go to the most qualified. This year, Napoleon has decided to make himself emperor with the French voters behind him. On December 2nd, Napoleon will be crowned ruler of France. This is great for France. Ha ha ha. Hopefully his empire will not fall. Now back to you, Ollie.
Our human interest piece of the day is on Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette.
Louis XVI inherited a government deeply in debt, and a society in which entrenched privilege made it difficult, if not impossible, to effect the social, economic, and political reforms that were necessary both to solve the monarchy's financial problems and to keep up with a rapidly changing society and economy. Also, with Marie's consent, useless expenses, the economy of France is not looking so good.
As the Great Theater comes to an end for France, people are still confused as why the French Revolution even occurred. This is on primarily the three major reasons. Political, economical, and social are the key points. The political reasons were the Third Estate wanted more say in the decisions in the government, and also Louis XVI was a weak leader. And the American Revolution inspired political ideas and options. Some economic reasons why the French Revolution occurred was that the wars caused loss of debt, lack of food, and lots of sicknesses. And peasants made very little money, but they had high taxes. Some social reasons that caused the French Revolution was the ideas of the liberty spread, so the Third Estate wanted some privileges as the same privileges as the First and Second Estates.
I am here with politician Professor Connors. He's here to touch on the subjects of what he thinks is to come next based on the knowledge of France's past. So, Professor, let's get started with your opinion on the Old Domain.
I think first off that taxing the poor instead of it being equal with all the people is wrong. I predict that it is going to lead to bad controversy for many years with the people in society. Then it can lead to wars on a more serious hand.
Now, do you think that the Legislative Assembly would work to change the old regime?
Actually, there has already been talk of change with it. There will be improvements, but I doubt they will be helpful. I am not that fond of our Legislative Assembly, but I am hoping something good is planned.
I think we could all agree on that, Professor. I agree that a change is needed. Now, looking back on the tennis court oath, do you think that it was much needed for the Third Estate and National Assembly to combine with the clergy and nobilities?
That was a great question.
I don't think it made a major difference, although I do agree that France needs a constitution. Louis XVI probably was just in fear of losing his precious power.
Well, thank you, Professor Connors, for your time. And once again, I'm Cassidy Allen, and this is Professor Connors. And that's all for today. Now back to the studio for last announcements.
That's one thing no one wants is another role like Louis.
I know I can agree with that.
Don't forget to tune back in later tonight at 11 p.m. to hear about the new plebiscite that has come up to be voted on and could affect you. It is possible for a new constitutional law.
Thanks for listening to French Revolution News today.
Have a great day, folks.